Yes, it's a question of welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show and welcome to a tench fishing trip. I was down at Angler's Paradise near Devon. Now just watch these lilies bumping. Can you see those lilies moving? I'm not doing it. There's another little ripple coming away. That is tench underneath the water, underneath the lilies, knocking them, and I'm going to try and be catching them, fingers crossed.
And if you look at the map that's supplied there, you actually can see here that that map is actually, hang on, the lake's actually made and excavated in the shape of a tench.
Now that's what I call dedication to artistic design in favour of the angler. Of course, down at this level, at lily level I'm going to call this, you can't actually see the shape of the tench in the ground.
Okay, and we're here down at the lake. First thing I'm going to do is put on one of these, because for float fishing I want to know the depth. I'm only close by the edge of some lilies, and it's a triangular plumb bob or plumb weight. You can get clip-on ones as well. The line goes through the eye, out of the eye and into the cork base at the bottom there, just like that. I hope you can see that. Fingers crossed, might be blurred, might not be. So this will pull the float down. It's too heavy for the float. The float can't hold it, so the float will go under the water, and then you just keep adjusting it until the float is just sitting where you want it. I have got here, just so you know, self-cocking float here, preloaded there with a few small shot either side just to adjust it. So if that weight gets it to say there, I can shot it down lower and lower and lower with additional shot. Hook size is about, I guess I'm on about 16 here, 4-pound bottom. I'm going to try it first with a pellet of bait, and then I'm also going to be fishing a free line rod here, which is just a bigger bear hook, straight hook, a BB shot, just to let it rest on the lake bed there. Nothing else. Rod and reel, Avon rods and reels. And what I'm going to do is this: I'm going to make a paste out of just regular ground bait. This is Bailey's horse feed with a handful of bran. So that tub I go there and just chuck a handful of soda bran in there. That's dry. Now you'll be using that as ground bait, so why on earth wouldn't you want to put it on the hook? But get yourself a good mixture, mix the two together and just damp it. Don't overwet it. You're not using this as ground bait. Well, listen, you can keep two separate tubs. You can have a bit there, keep them going. Okay, then you just keep working it and working it like this, making it very, very pliable, like putty, as you can see. You can dry your hands. You know, if you're over wet, you don't want it too wet, dry your hands off, add a little bit more dry to it, just powder, and make it stiffer. You want it at the right consistency so that the hook will pull through it on the strike. Not so hard, it's like a real rock hard pellet, ping, you'll miss fish every time, and not so soft that little fish will eat it off. Now, we used paste baits many, many years ago, and no question at all, it catches fish, but people don't seem to use it nowadays. So I'm going to be fishing the other rod, which is free line. Indication it's on a buzzer, but I'm going to use a little spine off a book here. It's very, very light, so you can see it goes up and down really easy. Just a bit of indication. I'm only fishing close in there. So I'm going to plumb my float up, get the right depth. On this goes. Now, two ways of doing this. You can either mould a soft bait round the hook, so when you strike it goes through the bait, or if you want to make it a little bit stiffer because you've got plagued by small fish and you want the paste stiffer, just mould it so that you can just see the point. You probably won't see it. I can feel it with my finger, the point of the hook there. So that way when you do strike, it's not buried in the bait. Out we go, just a rod length out. See if there's any of these golden tench around. Who knows, it certainly works. I've used ground bait like this before, ground bait, paste baits for regular tench. There we go. The golden tench I don't know. I might, after trying a size 16 here with this float, I might go a little bit bigger, 10 or something like that. I'll try a small piece of bait first, just to see if we get a bite, but I don't want to get plagued by unwanted fish like small, tiny rudd and stuff like that. Don't forget they're in there feeding on the ground bait. Just literally, the float set, out she goes, by the side of the lilies, let it settle. A little bit of extra ground bait, sloppier stuff this time. keep them coming out. They're going to come round. I know they're going to come round by these lilies. And then wait for that float to slide away.
Now you can see here the ground bait can either be squeezed hard in a ball or it can go down loose in a loose ball like this, in which case it tumbles down, breaks up on the way down, and this is only in shallow water, but it all lays on the lake bed and in turn will attract tench and other species close around it. Now you can also put a pair of polarizing glasses on if you're new to water, and you may well be able to see other underwater areas, marks, shady areas that tench like to get under in hot sunny conditions. Here is my paste bait. Now if it dries out in the sun, just wet your hands, keep moulding it just to keep it fairly pliable, fairly soft. And I guess, wow, hang on, fish on guys, did you see that? Rolling a paste bait in one hand, striking with the other. What an angler. Uh-oh, the last time I said what an angler, something disastrous happened. I fell in the water. Oh, close. I actually lost that tench then. Oh my god.
Wow, there we go guys. Target achieved. A tench, a golden tench. And that was on a piece of free line ground bait. Rarely used. Beautiful markers are these, unbelievable. Fort Knox fish, I'm going to call that, a Fort Knox fish. Absolutely tinker, not green, not olive green. Absolutely bright orange. Is that not weird? It's like something out of Chernobyl or something, nuclear disaster. Beautiful fish though. And of course, being the first one, yes, I want some more. Hello. Oh, this has got to be a first. This has got to be a first. It is a golden tench. Wait for this. A golden tench of gargantuan proportions. It is, get the weed off him because he went straight in the weed. Is that not the dinkiest little thing you've ever seen? I mean, perfection. Ground bait again, tiny little pellet of ground bait. Traditional sliding float, just zipping away towards the lilies, and there we go. What a pretty little fish that is. Target achieved. Fish back in the water. No need for landing nets or anything like that. And all I'm doing, I just mashed up that paste. It seems, I've done this before so I know, a lot of people don't do it, don't make paste out of ground bait. Squishy, roll it round the hook. I squeeze it very slightly flat like that. And out she goes. Right, 2 feet from the lilies. I've got a buzzer as well because when I might go off and film something, looking around and I'm going to miss the bite. That way at least I do get the audible connection with the float going under. Might just get me the extra fish. Oh. Just wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Is it going to go? It's just go sliding up and down. There's obviously fish in there. I don't know if there's a little rudd pecking at it. Because with paste baits, a lot of the time they will nibble it off. So you have to fish properly. It's not bolt rigged and hooking itself and all that. Oh, I missed it talking to you again. How many times have you people cost me fish? Here we go, here we go. It is indeed. What is that? Well, I want to call that a golden rudd. I want to call that one a golden rudd. But is the bottom jaw going forwards enough, guys? I don't honestly know. You know, it looks like a golden rudd to me. I suppose that must be what it is. It's pretty with its fin up like that. Lovely little fish. Is it a golden roach? Is it a new species? But there you go. Ground bait again. No maggots, no corn, no nothing. You throw ground bait in to attract fish. Well, they're eating the ground bait. Why don't you put ground bait on the hook? I feel I'm on a winner with another tench on the way. So peaceful here.
You could look here, there's a little shaded area by the side of that bush. Now in hot sunny conditions, there could well be tench close in there, so don't neglect the margins. Traditionally though, fishing around those lily pads is the area you should get tench in bright conditions.
And again, on the float, not on the free line one. I've actually taken the free line one out of the way. Another plump little golden tench. Unbelievable markings on it, all pristine. A Fort Knox special barbless hook. Drop it on your lap. Oh, lovely. Back in the water.
You can't really beat fishing with a float for tench. It's traditional, sure, in the gravel pits. Today, most people will be fishing for big tench, the green variety, using sort of small bolt rigs, long casting rods, that sort of thing. But traditionally, float fishing close in is a most pleasurable way of catching this species. It's synonymous with British summers. Oh, don't make me laugh, British summers, I'll fall off this chair. But nevertheless, it's a pleasurable way to fish, it's enjoyable. Not enough anglers do float fishing for tench. Sure, skill factor might be a little bit more in there, but that's part of the challenge, isn't it? And when you eventually see that float slide away, I mean, it really does get the pulse racing. You can't beat it early in the morning, dawns, late dusk, fishing in shady areas, fishing near lily pads. It's all good tench fishing, experience for everybody. If you're a youngster, I urge you, give this float fishing a go. You may well get hooked on it as much as us older guys are.
Well, guys, I'm on another tench. Decent sized one again. Had lots of those little ones, so they're obviously doing well in here. And this one's traditional tench, out there digging and digging, right on the surface. I guess about £1.5 pounds. And that was on the free line ground bait. Oh. Just missed one on the float as well. Blazing sunshine and the tench is still biting. You can always tell a tench fight. You get a lot of boils and swirls with that big paddle of a tail. They get their head buried and they're flailing around on the surface and they send up a big sort of swirl. You can always tell generally when you've got a tench on. Of course they fight hard as well. Here we come. It's like a little tuna, this one. There we go. If anything, hold still, even more bright than the last one. Look at the colours in that. Probably not the right best place for the sun, but that is.
Of course, once you get tench feeding, they can be a shoal fish, even this golden variety. And if you get them going on the feed, whatever it could be worms, it could be maggots, it could be sweet corn, all the traditional ones. I just happen to be using paste balls in this particular photo episode. it still does the job, it still catches a fish. There's a wide variety of baits you can use to catch them. Get out there and enjoy it. It's partly being in the surroundings, peace, tranquility, and you're certainly going to get that down at Angler's Paradise. As I say, this is the Golden Tench Lake. I would expect to catch Golden Tench in there, but what a setting and what a spectacular fish.
Well guys, it's about number 12 now, so I think it's time to call it quits. I definitely had the Golden Tench. He's still digging for the lilies down there. What a nice fish. Look, I've had nothing that's even broken 2 pounds. Great scrappers. I'm not sure they don't fight harder than regular green tench, as it were. But a dozen golden tench on a day like this in the surroundings here. Small wonder they call it Angler's Paradise. Thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. Don't forget, watch our Totally Awesome Outdoor Show as well. Meanwhile, I think I've got to go and have, well, such a day. I've got to have a last cast, haven't I?